Welcome to Make.com. So we'll be using Make.com for a whole bunch of different types of automation and AI workflows in our course. So the reason why we use Make.com is that it is a very powerful no-code automation workflow builder. So there are a whole bunch of tools out there on the internet that enable you to do this type of functionality, such as Zapier and N8N. Make.com is one of the most mature platforms, and it is one of the most platforms that is easiest to use. And it's one that I use quite regularly in my agency. I'm just going to take you guys through just basics on setting it up and then pricing, and also give you guys just a bit of information around how does it actually work. So basically, the way how Make.com makes money is they have this concept of an operation. And when you build a workflow, there will be a series of steps. Each of those steps is an operation. So the great thing with Make is you can just sign up for free and you get 1,000 operations a month. And it's a great way just to begin to start learning how to use this platform. And as you begin to build more automations, you might need to upgrade. And the pricing is pretty, in my opinion, it's pretty fair, I think, for the level of value that you'll get for yourself and for your clients. So that's pretty much just Make.com. We're just going to jump into just setting up, right? So when you log in, you will have a bunch of different scenarios. And the best way I find when it comes to just working with different clients is just make a folder. You can make a folder, name it anything. We're just going to call this automation operator. And then once you have your folder, you can just click in that, and then you can begin to create a new scenario. So we will go through a whole bunch of different scenarios that you can build with Make.com. Really, it's your creativity that's going to limit you. You can really do almost anything. So we'll go through that. I guess just a little bit about the tools and things that you want to maybe be aware of. So the really cool thing with Make.com is you can pretty much integrate any application that has a web service, and Make also comes preloaded with a whole bunch of different apps. So you can see here as I click on these favorites, there's a whole bunch of different apps that we can kind of add to our workflow. Even if there isn't an app here on this list, there is still a possibility to integrate with that external app through a HTTP request, and we'll cover how this integration works. But basically, we can integrate different apps. We've got an option for text passes, so we'll probably cover this as well in terms of why you might want to use these types of transformations. Typically, things like HTML to text. For example, if you scrape a website, you might want to remove all those HTML tags and just collect the text. You might want to collect specific elements of a whole bunch of, from a string, you might want to collect a whole bunch of specific words. So we can do these finding matching patterns. And then we've got tools. Tools are quite important to understand how they're used. We might want to understand how we get specific information, and we might want to store information in specific variables and then pass it to another workflow. So we'll cover all of this stuff in detail. I just want to give you guys a bit of a understanding around, what are some of the cool things with Make. The real differentiator between Zapier and Make is this flow control. So what Make.com allows you to do is build really powerful workflows where you can have routers, and routers basically flow information in different states. So for example, if something is true, run this workflow. If it's false, run this other workflow. If there's an error, handle it like this. So Make.com just gives you a bit more flexibility when it comes to error handling, when it comes to building more advanced automations. And that's why we recommend that over something like Zapier. and that's why I use it personally myself. The other cool things with Make as well is that you can export your blueprint and you can import a blueprint as well. So every time you make a scenario, you will have this option to export it. And especially when you're working with clients, you might find that that client might want to have their own Make.com account. And we can just easily build all the automations in our account and then export it to the client's account and then set that up. So it really makes this whole process of sharing automations quite easy. What else do we have? There's a whole bunch of other types of controls. I think I'm not going to go into it too much. I think the key is when we're working in scenarios, I think saving is very important. There's been so many times where I've been building workflows and I just forgot to save and something crashed and I had to do all that work again. So this is something that I'm going to stress in the tutorials as well, is to always be saving. And then you'll make sure that you'll never lose your work ever again. I think the last thing as well is this ability to schedule and leave your automation running completely. So basically, when you turn an automation on, it can run 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And this is the power of automation. Really, we can kind of schedule these automations to either run constantly, or we can also schedule these automations to run on a schedule. So like every 30 minutes, every hour, every day. So this is the power of scheduling when it comes to triggering when we want these automations to occur. So that's Make.com. Sign up to Make.com. There will be a link in the module below. Just sign up and start making automations.